Welcome everyone. A very good morning or a good afternoon based on where you're joining us from. We are so happy to have you. This is a joint webinar between Microsoft and PwC, so you can better understand our joint offering to help you with your identity governance needs. Today, I'm joined by a great panel of colleagues who across Microsoft as well as PwC. To start off, to kick things off, I think it'll be great for you to get to know us a little better. So I'm Sumi. I'm a Principal Product Manager in Microsoft Entra Engineering. I'm joined by my colleagues, Jeff and Peter. Do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
You're starting.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm Jeff Kasmer. I'm also a Principal Product Manager in our CXE team who focuses on Entra ID Governance.
So my name is Peter van Leeuwen. I'm also a Principal Product Manager in the CXE team, same as Jeff, focusing on identity governance.
Perfect. And now over to our PwC colleagues. Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike Starkweather. I'm a director out of the New York area in the US. I've been focusing on identity and access management and doing implementations for our clients for about, 18 years or so now. Nice to be with you today. David.
Hello, everyone. I am David Upward. I'm one of the IAM leaders within the cybersecurity practice at PwC in Canada.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shai Shamili from PwC UK, and I lead the identity practice in PwC UK. Nice to meet you all, and thank you for joining.
Perfect. I know all of you have joined us from many different places. We're very excited to be presenting this today. The way we'll sort of structure this out is we'll have a bunch of questions that we'll go through. All of the folks on the call are very experienced in the IGA space or the identity governance and administration space, and so today will be about getting those inputs at any point in time. Please feel free to put your questions again in the Q&A part of the thing, or and we'll try and answer them. If possible, we'll try and address them live over the webinar as well. With that, I want to start. Mike, or are you going to share the deck, or David? Okay, so the focus of our webinar today, and I'll quickly run through the overview, is Microsoft's Entra ID Governance proposition or solution, and how we jointly work together to enable you to enjoy the benefits that you can get out of this. So Entra ID Governance is an identity governance solution that enables organizations to improve productivity, strengthen security, and more easily meet compliance and regulatory requirements. You can use Microsoft Entra ID Governance to automatically ensure that the right people have the right access to the right resources. And we do this with identity and access process automation, delegation to business groups, and increased visibility. One of the things that you will see that cuts across the entire solution is the ability for you to be able to deploy this, very easily and very quickly. Entra ID Governance does build upon your Entra ID IAM solution already, so it already takes advantage of all of the work that you have put in over time to build out your Entra ID or your identity estate, if you will, in the cloud. Specifically, Entra ID Governance helps organizations address these 4 questions for access across services and apps, both on premises and in the cloud. Which users should have access to which resources? What are those users doing with that access? Are there organizational controls in place for managing access? And can auditors verify that the controls are working effectively? The way we do this is via scenarios that we have enabled across employees, business partners, and vendors to help you govern the identity lifecycle, to govern the access lifecycle, and to secure privileged access for administrators. Obviously, being an identity directory, we do look to the HR system and solutions as the system of record, and so we have inbuilt features that can help you ensure connectivity to your HR sources, no matter where they are on premises or in the cloud, and as well as automate and provide self-service access to all of those business stakeholders and business divisions across your organization. And we have, a number of capabilities that help us, achieve this within Entra ID Governance. And to demystify all of this, that's where we'll go through in the webinar and give you a lot more details. If at any point, again, if you have questions or if you want more clarity, etc., again, the Q&A chat is your friend, and we will get back to you on those questions as well. Let's move on to the question panel at the moment, right? Now, Peter, I'm going to pose this question to you, or I'd love to hear your opinion on this. A year ago, we announced the general availability of, Microsoft Entra ID Governance. This is a new SKU that became available. Could you explain to our audience, in your own words, the intent and vision for this solution?
Yeah, sure. So basically what we have been working on, our approach to identity governance is to deliver a complete solution for all of your IGA needs. And we would like to provide controls for any type of identity and their access that they have. What we've also heard from a lot of our customers is that identity governance is an important part of their security. And also customers have letting us know that they want even more IGA capabilities in the Microsoft Entra platform to meet their business needs. So that's also why we introduced this new SKU.
Perfect. Shai, I would love to ask you, Shai and Mike, actually. PwC has been, in the IGA space. You work with so many customers. What about this proposition from Microsoft was exciting to you?
Yeah, sounds great. I mean, great question. There's a lot about this proposition that excites us, but just to kick off on the response, and love to hear your view as well, Mike. We are living in exciting times now, right? So we're seeing technological innovations and adoption of automation at a pace that we've never seen in the past. And what that actually means is proliferation of all sorts of identities, be it humans, machines, bots, name it, and it's out there. And with it comes the risk of protecting all of them. And this can often seem overwhelming to clients. So it's really important to have a single platform that not just has visibility into these different types of identities, but can track, monitor, and then offer preventive and protective and detective controls to manage them. And this is where I think a converged identity platform comes into picture, and Microsoft is at the heart of it. And the fact that Microsoft is investing heavily into both traditional and modern identity capabilities is what's really exciting. And the fact that all of it is available in a single platform is, I think, to me, one of the most exciting things. Mike, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on, Shai. So it's really the evolution of Microsoft security lately has been extremely competitive in the industry, right? So the ability to leverage your existing investments in E3 and E5 to help foster your deployments, right? Having the ability to govern access from the Microsoft Entra ecosystem, right? So it's a familiar technology, familiar interfaces, integrations with the rest of the security stack is huge, right? It brings a lot of value to your SOC teams, to your operations teams, to your IAM teams as they investigate anomalies, things of that nature, right? The vision that Microsoft has to tie that access back to Entra ID tools using their other security tools like Defender and Privileged Identity Manager to be able to elevate your accesses on demand is critical to securing your cloud infrastructure and securing your applications. And really enabling that account management to happen through the lens of the identity lifecycle is really critical to support your security posture. and to give feedback for your auditors as they review who has access to what and when they receive that access and how they receive that access.
Perfect, perfect. I think, you bring up both of you brought up a very powerful point, as did Peter, in terms of, really viewing IGA from the lens of security, and the fact that it's part of, the Microsoft security portfolio. I think, for our audience, Jeff, I'm going to pick on you. Could you explain how Microsoft Entra ID Governance helps customers sort of reimagine those IGA processes, but from the lens of providing greater security?
Thanks, Sumi. So when I look at the changes that have happened over the IT landscape in the last few years, we do see this consolidation, moving apps and services to identity platforms like Microsoft Entra. And customers are doing this for better security and better user experience, right? But when we are making those apps and resources in those identity platforms, it makes sense to manage authorization or the ability to govern that access, because that's critical to secure the environment. This is why we say identity governance is security. And we understand that there's a journey moving from maybe your on-premises environments to hybrid to cloud. And that's why Entra is really meant to be managed from the cloud, not only for the cloud. Now, traditionally, many applications exist on-prem, but the rise of SaaS apps mean we have to have a central control plane to manage both. And that's what's key about reimagining this, is that we are looking at bringing in those governance capabilities, managing the access where customers are going, but with that reach back to manage those on-premises apps. Now, even if the app isn't even integrated into Entra for SSO, you could still govern that app. Now, many customers ask, well, how many connectors does Entra ID Governance have? Well, we look at it as apps, right? So there are over 300 named apps plus your traditional connector data sources. We really mean that you can manage it in the same control plane that you're managing authentication, we can manage authorization. And one of the things that when customers are going on that journey, it helps having some guidance, right? How do I modernize and take full advantage of this? And that's where we look at how our partners like PwC can help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And which I think that makes a lot of sense. But this can be, a whole lot that we are asking of our customers. So I think, would love to know, Mike, like as you engage with customers, what do you advise to your clients as they're considering deploying Entra ID Governance? How should they be approaching it?
Oh gosh, that's a good question, Sumi. So, I think some of the advice that we typically give is to make sure that you're working with your local Microsoft reps, working with a system integrator that is part of the Microsoft partner ecosystem, right? To be able to understand where Microsoft is progressing the technology, right? So really aligning your roadmap with Microsoft's roadmap on key features and capabilities that are coming out, right? So, you want to deploy a foundational set of capabilities, right? To integrate with your HR system, whether it be through SCIM provisioning or one of the out-of-the-box connectors that exist, or even, flat file connectors, be able to provision your accounts into the cloud, into Entra ID, as well as into potentially your on-prem AD, and manage those accounts. From there, you can start to grow into other connectors and other applications that you may have for your environment based on your existing requirements. And really, I guess what I want to go back to is relying on that system integrator and the Microsoft reps to understand the relationships that they have with Microsoft's engineering teams to be able to help guide, advise where customizations may be warranted, what customizations you may want to avoid, because there may be something coming on the roadmap that fits with your schedule and your roadmap. And don't just lift and shift, right? So if you've got an existing implementation of governance or identity management tooling today, now's the time to reevaluate the capabilities that you want to deploy and really aligning to what a SaaS tool can provide you, right? It's not just about Gone are the days of customizing the heck out of an on-premise product. It's really understanding how the SaaS tool works, understanding what leading practices are in the industry or in your industry for managing and provisioning accesses and tools and things of that nature, and making sure that you're maybe tweaking some of your processes and business rules to conform to some of the leading practices that the SaaS tool can really provide.
Yeah, I just want to add one point to that, Sumi. I think it's also, as Mike rightly mentioned, that it's important to look at the art of possibility while trying to solve a problem, is what I would say. So there's no one way of designing a control. So I think what's really important is to understand what is the outcome that we want out of the activity that we're performing or the investments that we're making as organizations. And as we move to cloud and as we move to adopting new and new capabilities, it's really important to look at the art of possible and not just stick to certain traditional methods of integrating with applications.
Absolutely. And I think, this is where like having a partner like PwC, really helps us also understand, as to what should be possible and what we need to enable as well. So I think this has been a great partnership across the board in terms of, not just helping our joint customers, but also helping us as Microsoft understand what we could be doing better to model things as they exist within those customer environments. I think, going back to the art of the possible, right? What are maybe some of the nuances that customers should consider, considering like every customer environment is unique? Would love to get a point of view from you as to, how do you approach things that are different for each customer and represent that within your deployments? David?
That one is for me. In answering that, I'd actually like to pick up on the theme that Mike and Shai have started with. As you mentioned, our clients have all sorts of IAM solutions in place when they're considering moving to a new IAM provider. Some are just sort of beginning their journey and rely on manual or scripted processes. Others might have on-premises solutions that they're moving away from. So we see various levels of maturity out there, but no matter which level of maturity an organization is currently at, an important recommendation that we usually make is not to just jump on that lift and shift type of bandwagon. So as part of modernizing the identity infrastructure, you should take the opportunity to take a deep look at your actual IAM requirements. An important question that doesn't always get asked is why? Why do we do this? Why did we do this in the past? Do we still need to do this? Why has it been executed in the manner that we currently have? Right? I've seen real client examples of implemented processes that have been carried along for years that can be reduced drastically in scope or sometimes dropped altogether. So, but that why question can also help you to see your current processes from that different point of view. As your business processes grow organically over time, you might find that the technologies or those business flows don't really fit anymore. So that's a key area, and it also applies to designing your new solution. Right? So in your current solution, you achieve your results through various processes that are connected together via various means, PowerShell scripts and emails and all types of things. But so it's a good idea and a perfect time to reevaluate that implementation as well. Your design going forward should be based on achieving your results within a structured implementation plan. Right. So we can help you to design a configuration framework to help implement a consistent identity governance solution that's manageable for the long term.
Yeah, thank you. I think that framework is going to help a lot of customers, and asking the question why is believe it or not, easier said than done. I think it'll require a lot of introspection within our customers to really understand what the right next steps are. But want to step back a little bit, and Jeff, as we within the Entra product group, right, think about, how this fits into the broader Entra value proposition, right? How should customers think about tapping into this value? Like, what do they need to keep in mind, or what should they know?
Well, as we talked about, Entra Identity is really our platform, right? So it's multiple capabilities with IGA capabilities. So as organizations are looking to modernize like security through projects like passwordless, they can use those IGA capabilities to start users in the lifecycle out as passwordless. So we're able to begin that journey more secure than we were with maybe some traditional bespoke approaches for managing access. But now we have more modern constructs, right? Like if you're familiar with verified credentials or verified ID, when I'm requesting access, how do I know that person is certified or they should have that access? We can submit verified credentials when making that request, and if valid, they can get access to that. But then we look at the other scenarios that we are bringing into our organization. Every organization that I talk to has business guests. Now, is every organization managing the life cycle of business guests? No, they should be aware of that and looking at how do you take those Entra capabilities like Entra ID B2B, match that with Entra ID governance and manage that complete life cycles for your employees, contractors, guests all together. And we see more and more of these capabilities coming into the platform as more modern scenarios emerge in IT. So I'm really excited to see how customers can marry that security authentication with the access management authorization built on the same platform and being able to manage it all the same. We see customers sometimes struggle getting the right sort of resources or skills across products, and consolidation into a consistent identity platform helps them to actually deploy the things they already have.
Perfect. On that note, Peter, it would be great if we could, we've got a number of exciting things coming up, but it'd be great to give a sense to the audience about what's next in, Entra ID governance. What are we working on?
Oh yeah, I only got a couple of minutes, right? But I can talk for this about an hour now. Now there is a lot of cool stuff coming. Like we have been working hard already for the last like 1.5, 2 years on delivering a lot of new features, and we have like a ton of stuff on the roadmap. So like Jeff already said that we manage from the cloud, we manage also the on-premise environment, but we're working also on supporting some additional use cases for hybrid and on-premises. Think of things like user write-back that we are working on currently. We just introduced already group write-back. But we're also looking at reporting on compliance and other regulatory requirements, extending our reporting and analytics capabilities in general. And of course, like this can't be a session with Microsoft without mentioning Copilot at least once. I think if we don't mention Copilot, we're going to get fired. But of course, with identity governance, we're also looking at integrating with AI, with Copilot, and bringing identity governance skills into Copilot. And I think lastly, what's also going to be, I think, a big thing for the platform itself is that we're also looking at integration with other Microsoft product families. And I think of, for example, like Purview, that if we Purview detects data exfiltration, for example, that they send a signal to identity governance to kick off a recertification.
Yeah, I think, thanks, Peter. I think, that's an exciting set of updates. Obviously, what I think customers can expect is, we will continue to keep integrating within the Microsoft security portfolio so you can realize scenarios that were previously not possible unless, these solutions were working so closely in concert with each other. So I think those are super exciting. And obviously, we'll continue to work to secure those features, make them more robust over time. So, you get the most out of what we have. Speaking of getting the most out of what we have, right? PwC has been a very special partner for us as part of this journey. You were one of our launch partners last year as we announced the new SKU. I know this, but I'm going to ask, the PwC team here to elaborate, what are some of the advantages that PwC brings to the table that customers should absolutely be aware of?
Sure thing. I'll pick that one up. Mike, would you mind popping up the slide? We do have a slide to sort of accompany this. I'll first call out the breadth and the depth of experience that we have at PwC. We've got a long history of working side by side with Microsoft across a bunch of different solution areas, but especially in the identity and security space. We collaborate with Microsoft to bring the right solutions to our mutual clients. We're not just implementers when we do that. Our goal is to drive real business value, and we can help deliver this value to our customers around the world, basically. So like PwC, or like Microsoft, sorry, PwC has a global presence. We've got thousands of Microsoft certified consultants and with tens of thousands of certifications. So these folks are ready to support our clients of all sizes across many different industries around the world. There's a few ways where this tight-knit relationship that we have is advantageous to our clients. The first one is I always look forward to the meeting in collaboration sessions with Microsoft engineering teams. It's really cool actually to be able to sit down with the folks who are actually creating these products. We provide feedback and we can help influence product roadmaps. We'll pass along any feedback that's collected from our clients. Any project teams that are implementing things, if they run into issues, we'll provide that feedback back to Microsoft as well. So this open dialogue in these areas, it really helps us to provide the right solutions for our clients. And maybe it helps spur some product improvements in the future as well. The second area is our teams participate in technology private previews. Once again, very, very close integration with Microsoft. So when we do this, we can test new features and we can also provide feedback back to engineering before these products are ready for public consumption. So if our clients are interested in early adoption with these private previews, we can help support our clients and get them engaged in there as well. One recent example, by getting early access to the product, the PwC US firm was able to co-author a white paper with Microsoft on integrating Oracle HCM with Entra ID Governance. So the PwC firms are also very involved in the Entra ID Governance integration for SAP that was released just recently. So PwC has industry-leading knowledge around both SAP and Microsoft, and so we're ready to work together and leverage these alliances to bring our experience toward Entra SAP identity management as well. I could pass it over to Shai. I think Shai will provide a little bit more detail around some of our service offerings.
Yeah, thanks, David. Just quickly, I think you summarized it really well. The fact that we work very closely with, the Microsoft team is something that's special, and we really appreciate the opportunity to provide feedback and, have those sessions where, we are honest about the technology and what are the use cases some of our clients are looking at and whatnot. But just to talk a little bit about our IAM offerings, so we help clients in a variety of ways. So there are areas where we help with advisory stuff, and what we mean by that is there might be clients who might have, a Microsoft license. There's all sorts of security licenses, but they might not be aware of. An example is they might not be aware of use cases that they could leverage with their existing licenses. So we help identify such things. We perform gap reviews and maturity assessments for clients, help them with understanding what their key areas of gaps are, and help them with strategy, roadmap, etc. We do a number of initiatives around transformation as well, so broadly across cybersecurity, but specifically talking about identity. It could be an identity solution implementation. We have a number of clients who are actively looking at Entra ID Governance, so helping them with the design, architecture, use cases, and deployment. It could be capability enhancement of their existing tool sets or integrating Entra with other applications out there. And then the final bit that I want to talk about is operations. We also help clients with operations, and it's more than lights on. So the way that we look at operations is ensuring that there is continuous improvement on the capability and on the service, and that's how we help clients. Back to you, Sumi.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this was really great. I think we went across the board. We got an understanding of Entra ID governance, where we're headed from Microsoft, and then I hope you also understood the PwC point of view, and how together we're able to best serve the needs of our joint customers. But would love to also pick up a few questions that came through in the chat. Since we have extra time, again, folks who are on the call, this is your chance. Ask us the tough questions, so we can help answer that. Let's see. So we have a question from Marco. Could you explain the possibilities to create workflows based on certain business scenarios needing specific ID provisioning or ID attributes that are created? I'm going to tag team with Jeff. Jeff, do you want to pick that up?
Sure. So this is actually one of the great areas of Entra ID governance. Every life cycle has a concept of workflows. Now, in Entra ID governance, we have capabilities we call built-in workflows. These are tasks that you can utilize as part of the lifecycle workflows feature set. So these are common things that every business does when you join, you move, or you leave an organization. You can take these built-in tasks, piece them together, and have that workflow that you centrally run and operate and manage. But one of the best things is that every organization also has customizations, and traditional bespoke sort of tools had these workflow languages that you had to learn. Well, in the Entra ID governance platform, we've built on the Azure Logic Apps platform, which is well known through the entire M365. So you're able to use that common skill set to extend the capabilities of Entra ID governance. So if you're not a developer, you can deploy Entra ID governance. And if you're not a developer, you can actually customize Entra ID governance. So we support that for provisioning, for business workflows, all those capabilities. So I think it's something that every organization can deploy.
Any other questions, folks? Or anything anyone on the panel wants to add that we may have missed out? I think there's a ton of resources out there, folks, if you want to follow up and get deeper into what's part of the solution, what's part of PwC's offering. I think we've already also sort of dropped the contacts of folks. So, at any point in time, do reach out to any of us. We're happy to assist you or answer your, questions if they come up later after the webinar as well. So gonna give a minute more.
Yep, just in case I threw the context back up there.
Yeah, perfect. So can we go a couple of slides over to the last slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So while we're here, please do share your feedback with us. We'd love to know how we could have better been better over this webinar. This is not the first webinar, won't be the last webinar, so we'd love your feedback. What could we be doing better, as well as please use the opportunity, again, the chat, or reach out to us to really get to know us better. If there are no more questions, again, I want to give a quick second of opportunity for anyone to bring up anything I may have missed.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Again, we appreciate you filling out this short survey for us so we can improve our events like this in the future. And thank you to all of our PwC speakers for joining us, and of course, Sumi for moderating. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.